What is up, everybody? It is your boy Nick Noodles coming at you with another great video. And in today's video, we're talking all about cook groups. Now, cook groups are so important in the reselling game and in the botting game. And honestly, if you're not in a cook group, you're going to have a very hard time in this community. I've been answering a lot of questions on my botting tutorial videos, and it's mainly because one, they didn't watch the video all the way through, and two, they're asking questions that they could easily get answered in a cook group. For the most part, I'm probably going to take a break from, giving botting advice, mainly because I don't really think botting certain sites is worth it right now, especially not foot sites. If you have any questions about reselling or botting, I highly recommend joining a cook group because they will likely answer all of the questions you have. Now, let's go ahead and talk about what they usually offer and what it is. A cook group is pretty much a paid Discord server that is going to give you a lot of resources to cop limited items, improve your reselling game, and maybe even improve your botting game if that's an investment you want to make. Now, you'll notice that I said paid Discord server. There are some free ones. I don't know any off the top of my head. However, they are out there, so do a little bit of research and I'm sure you can find an invite to one. Now, the price of a cook group is usually $10 to $60. The one I'm in is browser. It's $15 a month for me. However, if you want to join now, it'll be about $20 a month. And everything I talk about in this video, browser offers. So if you're interested in joining one for pretty cheap, I think they pretty much offer everything that the $50 to $60 groups do. Follow me on Instagram at NickNoodlesYT. I will set you up with the process of how to get into the group because you can't just get the group going to their website right now. Check out their Twitter if you want, browser and browser success. Our success page speaks for itself. We absolutely cook in there. I'm a little bit biased, but I made so much money from being in this group. It's pretty crazy. So again, highly recommend it. Shameless plug. Now, most cook groups specialize in streetwear and sneakers. However, there are a lot of them that specialize in different things like trading cards, GPUs, electronics, maybe NFTs and stocks. However, most groups that are centered around streetwear and sneakers will have some members in the group that are also pretty knowledgeable in all those other fields. So you may not have to join multiple ones. You may have to. It's really just trial and error, join a group, see if it has what you want. And if it does, stay in it. If not, you can upgrade to a new one. Now, you will find that a lot of the really popular groups like Notify, Hidden Society, I think AK Chefs is one, they're actually out of stock on their memberships, so you can't really get in unless you consistently follow them, win a giveaway, or hit one of their restocks. And you'll notice that some of these top groups resell for a lot of money, like a couple $100. And honestly, do not pay resale for these cook groups because the cheaper ones pretty much offer the same thing. I don't want anybody getting finessed out there just because of the name of the cook group. So definitely, do some research with these groups. Look at their success pages before you join one. See what they have to offer. Honestly, I would just get the cheapest one that you can that has all the features that I mentioned because we're all getting the same information and have the same restock monitors at the end of the day. Now, here are things that a cook group will offer. I'm going to read off a list real quick. Release information, restock monitors, Groupbuys, one-on-one support, Autocheckout Services, Lowkey Flips, Shockdrop pings, and a fun community to be a part of. Let's break down all of those things one by one. Browser, again, offers all of these things, so if you're interested, hit me up on Instagram at NickNoodlesYT. So starting off with release information, there are so many releases happening pretty much every single day, maybe every other day. At the minimum, once a week, there's a hype drop to go for that has resale potential. It can be really hard to track all these things, when items are releasing, at what time, on what websites, and having a cook group organizes all that for you. Some of them will even provide early links or variant links, and those are very useful if you're trying to bot Shopify. Now, you can do all this research on your own, follow a bunch of Twitter accounts, bookmark a couple of the sneaker calendar pages. However, this can get really disorganized and it's just not as convenient as having it in a Discord channel where you can look at it pretty easily. Next, we have restock monitors. And if you're like me, you take a lot of L's on the initial release. And companies, they will cancel a lot of the initial orders that come through, whether it's due to bot suspicion, maybe duplicate addresses, or maybe like a payment fail. And so what do they do with all these canceled orders? They restock them on their website. And it's a little bit silly if you think about it. They're pretty much canceling bot orders and restocking them just for other botters to pick them up. It really doesn't make any sense. The whole game is a mess right now. It's impossible to know exactly when these websites are going to restock because they do it at random times. So you absolutely need a restock monitor to be able to hit Restocks, I've hit a lot of things on restocks, and I have a crazy dunk coming in sometime maybe next week or this week, but you guys are going to want to be there for that. It's absolutely insane what I was able to cop with my Cook Groups restock monitors. Now, some restocks are easier to hit than others. Foot sites are pretty much impossible to cop. However, Supreme and Shopify, you can definitely hit restocks on if you're at your computer and you're fast enough. I've done it several times, mainly on Supreme, but again, I have hit some Shopify releases. Again, a lot of Cook Groups are using the same restock monitors, so I would just go for the cheapest one that you can find that's in stock. Next, we have Groupbuys. And what is a group buy? It's pretty much a proxy provider or maybe a bot company partnering up with a Cook Group to give them either keys to a bot or maybe a discount on proxies. I know that a lot of Cook Groups also partner up with like AYCD to give them like $7 off. Now, I've personally gotten 2 beta bots through my Cook Groups group buys. One was Vibrus, which didn't do too hot on foot sites, but really does well on Target and I think even Amazon. And also Yidian, which is a garbage Supreme bot. I can't believe I actually spent money on that. And so a lot of group buys, you know, they can be hit or miss. We have gotten TSB and Lex. I wasn't able to get those group buys at all because they were pretty limited. And that's what I want to talk about. A lot of Cook Groups, they, you know, advertise these really big group buys. I've seen some Cook Groups do group buys with Prism and Soul AIO. And, you know, that can be very appealing, being able to get what, $1,000 or $4,000 bot for only joining a $40 or $50 a month Cook Group. However, when these groups do these types of group buys with these really expensive bots, they're really only giving out like 10 to 20 keys to hundreds of members, maybe even over 1,000. So your chances are pretty slim, maybe a little bit better than a Twitter giveaway, but at the end of the day, it's never guaranteed. So I wouldn't really join a Cook Group solely based on the group buys. That's just my opinion. Maybe, you know, people have gotten lucky and have differing ones, but I just don't want anybody to get finessed out there. So again, don't join a Cook Group solely based on the group buys. Next, you have one-on-one support, and a lot of people in this community aren't going to hold your hand through the process or tell you exactly what to do. Some people will, you know, guide you through it. I think I've done a pretty good job of answering, you know, questions on all my YouTube videos. However, I'm probably going to stop doing that just because I don't really have the time. And also, it gets a little bit repetitive, and all your questions can literally be answered by joining a Cook Group. Most Cook Groups are either going to have a questions channel in their Discord, or they're going to have some type of ticket system where you can get one-on-one support with a mod or an admin, or maybe even someone in the Cook Group that has like a botting role that's like a veteran at this type of stuff. Because a lot of people are going to be more inclined to help if they're getting paid for it rather than, you know, giving out their information for free. So definitely keep that in mind. But again, all your questions can be answered in a Cook Group. If you can't get a question answered in a Cook Group, then you're not in a good Cook Group at all. Next, we have Autocheckout Services. So what is Autocheckout? It's also known as slots. This is something I do on my Instagram. So if you're interested in getting slots ran on Supreme, definitely follow my account because I do pretty cheap rates and I've cooked up a decent amount. I got 3 Air Force Ones for 3 different people, and I was also able to get a Wheaties tee in small for somebody, which is a pretty limited size. I am kind of new to it, so I charge pretty cheap prices to get my name out there. So yeah, definitely hit me up if you want slots run. Now, what is auto checkout or slots? It's pretty much you giving someone your personal billing information that you would use to check out. They're going to take that information and put it in their bot and run tasks for you. And it's going to attempt to check out with your information. Now, if they're successful, let's say you give me your information and I hit for you, then you would pay me a small fee, usually based on how much the item is going to resell for. So for example, when I run Air Force One slots, I only charge $10 if I hit for you, mainly because the resale has kind of tanked. However, if I was running slots for a Jordan 1, I might do a fee of like $30 or $40 because the profit margins are a little bit higher. Now, keep in mind that the cost of the fee plus whatever you pay retail is always going to be cheaper than paying resale. So again, the Air Force example, if I charge you a $10 fee and I hit, you're paying the $10 fee plus around what, $117 for shipping. So that's $127 total, and resale is about what, 160, 170. So you are saving a little bit of money, especially if it's your personal size and you're not trying to resell it. Now, the key thing is you don't pay the botter if they're not successful. So it's pretty much risk-free. Now, I know it can be a little bit sketchy giving your personal information to somebody. And so if you don't like that at all, then you don't have to do it. And I wouldn't recommend doing it. Make sure that the person that is running a slot for you is definitely trustworthy. Make sure that they have permission to do that in the cook group and it's not just some random member. Now, I personally don't have too much success with slots because if you think about it, it's just one botter running one task out of probably hundreds on their setup. So I've never been too lucky on it. I have gotten one pair of Yeezy Bread 350s through a slot. However, any other slot I've signed up for has been a miss. But it can be a good alternative, especially if you have a lot of credit cards and you don't have the money to run a bot. Next, we have Lowkey Flips, and this is where I've also made a lot of money in my cook group. What is a Lowkey Flip? It's pretty much something outside of streetwear or maybe an item from a lesser known company. I have personally done Lowkey Flips on cause dolls, coins, and I've also seen them for posters and NFTs. And the Lowkey Flips are really nice to go for because one, obviously a lot of people don't know about them because they're Lowkey Flips. And because of that, they're generally easy to cop off whatever website they're on. And some of the margins can be pretty crazy. Like I got a coin for like 80 bucks and sold it on eBay for like 300 or 400. I can't remember the exact amount. I've also gotten a cause doll that I got for, I think, 350 or 400 and I sold it to someone on Reddit for like 800, and those are pretty good margins. Those are better margins than you would get on like a Jordan 1 release, to be honest. Next, we have Shockdrop pings, and this is really important, especially for sites like sneakers, Jordan reserves, or maybe exclusive access releases, or something like a foot site release. You know, a lot of members will ping if that's happening, especially if you have the resources to bot those. I recently got a pair of biohacks because someone in my group pinged for a Jordan reserve on the sneakers app. Again, you can follow accounts like Keith Adams or Site Supply to get pinged whenever something's going to restock. However, if you do and you turn on notifications for those accounts, you're going to have to, get notifications for everything they're tweeting or retweeting. I'm sorry, Keith Adams, I am not interested in joining Endurance. And that can be a little bit annoying because you're just going to get spammed with stuff you don't want to see. Now, last thing I want to talk about is just being in a fun community. Now, I'm pretty sure most cook groups do a good job of not having a toxic environment, because who wants to pay money to be in a toxic environment? Not me. And, being in this game, the reselling game, the botting game, it can be pretty stressful. And I think being in a Discord group or like a community like this where you can, bring people up, joke about releases and stuff like that, and support each other, as corny as all of that sounds, it really just makes the whole experience a whole lot better. With that, that's pretty much all I have to say about cook groups. Again, you really need to join one. I don't know how many times I can say that in this video. One more time, if you're interested in joining a pretty cheap cook group that has all the things that I just mentioned in this video, hit me up on Instagram, NickNoodlesYT, and I will get you set up. But until next time, I will see you on the next video.